Every time. It's like she knows. Y'all cannot play on me. No, you can't do it. Hello, and welcome back to Freya and Beyla's channel. Freya and Beyla are right here, obviously playing. Freya is right here, and she's my 2-year-old Australian Shepherd. And then I also have a Golden Retriever puppy, which is who we are talking about in today's video because I wanted to break down her new puppy schedule. I posted a previous video breaking down hour by hour what our daily schedule looks like when she was like 8 weeks old all the way until like 16 weeks old. And I told you guys that I would update y'all whenever that schedule changes because they do change as they get older, and that's what we're doing today. We're going to be outlining basically from 4 months until 6 months kind of schedule that I typically follow. And again, every dog is different. I said this in the last video. This is not the end all be all. There are so many ways to raise a puppy, so many different schedules that work. You just have to find one that works for you and your family and your puppy. And this is something that has worked for Freya when she was a puppy. It works for me and I absolutely love it. And we're doing the same thing with my Golden. Literally take what works, leave what doesn't, combine a bunch of different schedules, because at the end of the day, the most important thing is that you have a happy, healthy puppy. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe down below for twice a week. I used to say weekly dog vlogs, but we've been posting twice a week every week for a little bit now. So we do dog vlogs over here. We do puppy schedules, like training videos, dog hauls, literally anything. If you just want to get to know my 2 dogs, you can subscribe down below. But let's dive in. Last time I had my schedule on my iPad. Today I just have it on a little note card. So I'm just gonna walk you through what Beyla's new schedule looks like. Before, we were on a 2 to 2 to 2 kind of schedule where she was awake for 2 hours, asleep for 2 hours, awake for 2 hours, asleep for 2 hours. Now that she is older, she has graduated into basically a 3 to 3 schedule. So now she's awake for 3 hours and asleep for 3 hours. But I would highly recommend going and watching the previous video of the schedule before, even if you have a 5 or 6 month old puppy, because I really broke down what I do. I rewatched that video right before filming this one, and it is really good on talking about what exactly I'm training when I say this is my training hour and whatnot. So I will try to repeat myself, but that last video does have really good insight into the nitty-gritty of the schedule. I will also preface this video like I did with the first one that I know that I am in a privileged place to have this kind of schedule because I work from home and I'm able to be here all day with the puppy. And if it's not myself, it is my partner who is here all day. So this kind of work from home schedule works because we work from home. And I know that if you have a 9 to 5 or like you go into the office every day, I did share in the last video as well like what I would do in those scenarios, and that hasn't changed because you would still be working the same schedule. But kicking it off, we are waking up at 8 a.m. with our puppy. That is when she is coming out of that crate at night because she is crate trained. The beginning of our days still look the same as they did on the previous schedule, in the sense that after we go potty, of course, first thing in the morning, we are going to spend our first hour of the day training. However, previously we spent the entire hour training because at this point in your puppy's life, they're usually not fully vaccinated, which means they can't go outside for walks and whatnot. However, after 4 months old, your puppy should be fully vaccinated, which means you can be going outside for walks. And so that hour of full training is now going to get cut in half, kind of, for half training on walks and half training inside, like normal training. In this age range specifically, I'm not really focused on a lot of training on the walks. I am really just focusing on reinforcing good behaviors and redirecting bad behaviors, so the behaviors that I don't want, of course. So as soon as she goes potty, usually I'm just like out the door and we start our walk because we're going outside anyways. I have a treat pouch with me full of her breakfast amount, which is a cup of her dog food. Obviously follow your dogs, but I will bring the entire breakfast amount in a treat pouch, and I will try to work through half of it while on the walk, and we'll get to the other half whenever we get home. But at this age, I'm not looking for structured walks. I'm not doing anything specific in terms of training. I'm letting them walk and sniff and be dogs, especially because they're just now starting to go on walks. So all of this is going to be so new and exciting, and expecting them to be like robots already, it's just not my cup of tea. But if my dog chooses to walk calmly next to me, I'm going to reward that and give her treats. If they stop to smell something and I keep walking and I say come on and they come on, I'm going to give treats. If they try to explore something new, like a new sound or a new smell, and you can see they're skittish, like we're reinforcing positive association, just giving treats throughout that entire walk. And if you can make that walk 30 minutes, perfect, because then we're going to head home, and for the rest of that 30 minutes in that first hour, we're going to hand feed the rest of breakfast for training. This can be refreshing skills, this can be teaching new skills, it can be exposure like I talked about in the previous video. You could work on handling, so like with groomers or for vets, again giving them their treats, teaching them sit, lay down, shake, any of those things. You can also work on being calm or, you know, place work, stay, all the things. It's just hand feeding breakfast to train, and that's how we spend our first hour every single day, is on a walk training and at home training. And now we're moving into our second hour of puppy being awake, and it still kind of looks the same, where it's going to be an engaged playtime. This means that I am involved in playtime, which means I have the ball, I'm playing fetch, I'm playing tug. This is one-on-one time for Beyla right now because I have a second dog. If it's your first dog, of course it's going to be one-on-one because you only have one dog. It is now 10 a.m. so we have one more hour of being awake in this new schedule, and for the past 2 months or so we have been practicing how to be a dog a little bit every day, and I talked about that in the previous schedule video. But we've done a lot of practice with this, which means that she's ready to upgrade to an hour of how to be a dog, and this is also when I let Freya come out, so it's no longer one-on-one and I'm not engaged with Beyla. I'm still watching her, but hopefully by this point your puppy should be potty trained and shouldn't be chewing everything up. We still had a lot of casualties with Beyla, unfortunately, so that's why you still want to watch them, but it's not engaged. So I will let Freya and Beyla play their little heart out. If they play for the entire hour, that's totally fine, but usually that last hour being awake, they're gonna play, they're gonna have their zoomies, they're gonna have so much fun, and then they will start to settle and regulate themselves, which is what I hope for. So by the time 11 a.m. rolls around, when she goes down for her nap, she should have already settled, gotten all of her zoomies out, been mentally stimulated, physically stimulated, and is ready to go down for a nap, where she will nap for 3 hours from 11 a.m. until 2 p.m. And at 2 p.m. we're gonna get her back out of the crate. That first hour is where I will do my activity of the day, which is basically the socialization activity of the day. I have done this every single day from when the puppies are, puppies up until 5 or 6 months old. I have a whole video on what to socialize your dog with, especially when they're not vaccinated, but the list still applies to when they are. And I'm still doing this every day with Beyla. We take her somewhere for at least an hour, if not more, to experience something new, even if it's just to go on like a little hike. It doesn't have to be something crazy every single time. It's just getting out of the house and going to do an activity with your dog. And that'll be the first hour. So as soon as she wakes up, we go and do that. Of course, I'm gonna take treats with me to reinforce good behaviors and whatnot, but it really is just like some bonding time. It could be training time, socialization time, whatever, with your dog that first hour. And then we're gonna come home. And because I was completely engaged with her that first hour, that second hour being awake now is going to be that like be a dog hour. So she's gonna play with Freya, that she can do whatever she wants, she can chew bones, she can play with toys, she can take a nap, she can lay around, run around, doesn't really matter. I'm watching her, but I'm not engaged with her. She's regulating herself and learning how to be a dog in the household. Either 4 or 4:30 to 5 p.m. is dinner time, and I say or because sometimes we switch it up. I'm still gonna hand feed and train, and that could take an hour or take 30 minutes, or I'm giving them some sort of a food puzzle, a slow feeder, some sort of an enrichment food toy, and depending if it's like frozen or not, it might take them a while to eat, and that could take the entire hour, but that is just dinner hour. You can hand feed again, you can work on training, you can refresh some skills. Maybe the morning is when you refresh skills and the evening is when you're going to teach new skills, whatever you want to do. But of course we train twice a day with breakfast and with dinner, or it's mental enrichment and they're eating out of a slow feeder or some sort of a puzzle kind of food toy thing to make mealtime more enriching. Either way, 5 p.m. it is time for another nap, and she's gonna go down for another 3 hours because she's been awake for 3 hours. So that means I'll be waking her up at 8 p.m. And I know that at this point you're probably like, but it's 8 p.m. it's almost time for bed. Why would she be taking a nap right before bed? Because bedtime is still the same with this new schedule as it was before, which is 9 p.m. However, bedtime looks a little different now. Because we're getting older, because she's doing so well, she gets more and more freedoms, and that includes bedtime. So her last hour before bedtime, we usually go on a walk, and then I allow her to like play and do some engaged playtime with myself, maybe a little bit of Freya, maybe all three of us kind of thing. The end of the night is really loose, but we definitely get our night walk in. And then at 9 p.m. when she would normally go into the crate because it's bedtime, she actually comes to bed with us now. And that's not because she's sleeping in bed with us. She is still sleeping in her crate. But just like we worked on practicing being a dog, because you have to train these things. Like dogs don't inherently know all the rules of your household and what you're day-to-day looks like and how to act in these kinds of situations. You literally have to teach them everything, and that includes bedtime. Especially if they have been crate trained, sleeping in the bed is so new to them and they probably don't know how to do it. It's gonna be exciting. At least for Beyla it was. Like, she comes up to bed and she wants to play, and so we're trying to learn not to play in bed. That's our, you know, settle time, and how to settle outside of her crate is something that she has to learn how to do. So this is basically practice for bedtime, because the dogs go up at 9, but usually we aren't in bed asleep until like 10, 10:30, 11 or so. And so she will come to bed with us at 9 to practice settling for bed. We bring a bone back with her. She can lay in bed and chew that and just hang out with us, and her and Freya can kind of like play a little bit. We don't let them roughhouse, and especially again not on the bed, but letting them regulate themselves, settle, chew bones, learn how to get ready for bed. And she'll hang out with us for about an hour, hour and a half until we're ready to go to sleep, and then we will take her to her crate and have her go to bed. So she's not up for only an hour from that 8 to 9. She's really up from like 8 to 10, but definitely settling and practicing being a dog. I hope this was helpful to see kind of like the natural progression for schedules for puppies, because as they get older, at least with me, the older they get, the more freedoms they get, because we've practiced beforehand. I'm trying to set them up for success and not expecting them to know exactly what to do and when to do it when they have no idea what's going on. Instead of just going every night from sleeping into the crate to then like sleeping in bed with us, it's not going to go over well. You have to practice it. You have to work up to that for good results. The same thing with leaving your dog at home unsupervised without chewing anything or having accidents, is you work up to that. The first time leaving them outside of their crate isn't for 8 hours while you're at work. Things are going to get chewed up. We practice. And again, the schedule might not be for everyone, but please take what's helpful, leave what isn't, because again, all that matters is that you have a happy, healthy puppy. If you liked today's video and you want to see more, make sure you subscribe down below for more dog vlogs, dog hauls, the training videos, the whole 9 yards. And once again, whenever this schedule updates, I will make another video and just show what she's doing as she's getting older. My schedules typically work in like a 2-month kind of increments, so she'll probably be on this schedule until she's 7 months or so, and then we'll update you on how she's doing and what we're doing now. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you next week for another dog vlog. Bye.